This morning we are taking some samples at Prairie Pines Nature Reserve, which is some land on the northeast part of Lincoln managed by Washika Audubon Society, and specifically where we are right here is an area that is in use with Community Crops. So Community Crops is a great organization based in Lincoln that helps normal people and people who want to begin to farm to grow food locally. And so Community Crops has a number of community gardens, and they have some bigger areas to help people on an eighth of an acre, quarter acre, etc., to grow food. So you can see my team back here. We are taking some measurements of cover crops and weeds. So some rye and vetch last fall were planted in replicated randomized trials on 10 different areas at this location and the Air Park location. That is another larger area of land that is managed by Community Crops, again in the with the goal of trying to help beginning farmers. We are trying to capture how well the cover crop treatments of rye, which is what's right in front of me, or hairy vetch, are suppressing weeds. So this right here, from this flag to this flag, is a strip of a cereal rye cover crop. So you can see that nice thick grass right here and way less weeds. If we just go a little bit over to one of the control plots, we can see that there are quite a few weeds. So this is why we do this kind of experiment. And actually, the NRCS has established a practice code and conservation programs called adaptive management. And what this allows you to do is to be given funds to look at different treatments in replicated randomized strip trials like we're doing out here, so you can try to understand across a whole field how well does a practice work, try to capture the variability of what's happening. I can see I've picked this nice strip right here to feature, because there's other strips with the hairy vetch and the cereal rye that did not perform as well. So actually, if I just move over here, here's a strip of some hairy vetch. So here's some hairy vetch. You can see there's still a number of weeds that are here, but this is actually for Nebraska, not too bad a growth of hairy vetch. Hairy vetch is one of the few legumes that we can get to overwinter in our climate, and that makes it an attractive choice for cover crops. But from a weed suppression and growth standpoint, we can see pretty clearly it's just not quite as competitive as the rye. So one other feature I want to point out is you can see that there is some mulch, some straw, and when the team from Community Crops broadcast seeded these cover crops, they put down straw. So they did that in September of last year. Right now it's April 17th. So there's been a good amount of time for the cover crops to grow. But one of the things that they did after they seeded, again, was to put down the straw and mulch. And I think that really helped, in addition to some watering that they did. So we can definitely see less weeds where we've had cover crops. Vetch not quite as competitive as the rye, but the rye did a nice job of suppressing weeds. And we're gonna look at the numbers from the samples that we took today and really try to understand how effective the cover crops were. And now that we've sampled, one of the farmers from Community Crops is going to come in and terminate the cover crops with tillage and then plant some onions here. So we'll be able to potentially look at what are the differences in onion growth too in these strips that we have. So it's definitely different when we think about cover crops on this scale. To plant them, to terminate them, there's not as much large equipment or maybe as much use of chemical termination as we might think about in a row crop type of setting. But I think there's some things we've learned here and from other experiments we've done with Community Crops that can be kind of beneficial to think about what are some good strategies to be most effective with something like cover crops in smaller kind of growing for vegetable production setting.